Hello, PHS. This is Ms. Lesser, your college advisor. I wanted to get you guys some information on how to register for the ACT. The ACT, there are several test dates coming up, and I want to make sure you have access to instructions on how to actually get yourself registered. So let's just actually walk through the registration process. You will have to go to this website called act.org, and so go ahead and put that into Google or your search bar, type it in, and come to this website. And as I am doing this kind of video, you can be following along with me. So what we will need to do is go ahead and press this big button that says register for the ACT. And we will come to this section right here that tells us that we either need to create a My ACT account or we need to sign in. A lot of you guys have taken the ACT before, and what that means is you most likely could have accessed your scores online. If you have accessed your scores online, that means you have an account for signing in. That means you need to try your email addresses, try any that you might have used, and try some passwords. You can press forgot password, and you can also, see if your email address is working. If your email address is not working, you're not able to log in, there's a couple things you can do. You can either call act.org, which is a little bit tedious, or you can try to create a new account and just see if your emails have already been linked to another account. So how we will do that is we'll create My ACT account here. If you have taken your test, and remember, you would have taken the ACT, not the pre-ACT. We're not talking about pre-ACTs, pre-SATs. We're talking about the ACT. If you took that in February, if you took it over the summer, if you've taken it before, you will need to put I registered or have tested before. If you've never taken a test, if you are looking at this and maybe you're a junior, you will need to press I'm new, let's get started. If we are clicking this one, that means we've registered or tested before. And they'll ask us if we've accessed our scores online before or if we've never accessed them. If you've never seen this website, if you've never seen your scores online, you will need to say that you've never accessed your scores. Then you're going to have to actually put in your information, first and last name, date of birth, and then this is the month and the year of the test, but I want to speak specifically to the ACT ID. So the ACT ID is a ACT ID number that should be on your score report from your previous test. Most likely you would have received a score report in the mail from ACT listing the number, right, the score that you got on your previous test. Again, that previous test would have been on a certain month and date. Most juniors in our high school will have taken the ACT in February or March. But you will have had an ACT ID on that scorecard, the score report. You will have to put in that ID number here. If you do not know what I'm talking about, I would recommend calling ACT to get that information. Again, this has to be found on your printed score report. If you received the score report over email, look for it, but you will have to enter that ACT ID number. If you're having issues with this, please let me know. But again, in order to create your account, we have to have this number, and you can call act.org to get that information. So let me press back for a moment. So let's say that I do know my account information, or I've reset my passwords, or I finally created an account. We are going to sign in here, which I have done on my own. I have on this other page, I've gone ahead and put in my information. It takes me here to update my terms and conditions. I will say that I accept them. Oh, I think I just pressed back. So I'm going to put in my information and sign in. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so now I'm actually into my account. It actually made me accept the terms and conditions. Now I'm in my account. So what we will need to do is, again, if you are trying to take a test coming up, we will need to press this register for the ACT button. And what this will do is it will pop us up some information that we're going to need to know, okay? We are going to need to know that this will take us some time, that we are going to have something to help us pay for the test. And let me stop right there. I do have ACT fee waivers. So if a student needs a fee waiver to pay for this test, if we don't have enough money on hand to pay for it, or if you are on free reduced price lunch or any other type of federally funded opportunity, like I'm trying to think of public assistance or Medicaid or Medicare, anything like that, especially the free reduced price lunch, that will allow you to be eligible. Most all PHS students are under free reduced price lunch list this year because of COVID. So let me know if you would like a voucher or a fee waiver to cover the cost. They do ask you to have your high school grades and courses. We're going to skip that information because it is not required, and it will make it shorter for us to complete the test. And they will also need a photo. You do need to upload this photo now. Don't say what it says to upload it later. Do it now. And the reason for that is that if you don't upload your photo by the deadline that they require, you will have your whole test canceled, and that's not going to be good. So we're going to begin registering. We will be in the U.S. unless you guys want to go to another country. Do you have a disability? You will need to answer this question. You will also need to answer if you want to take the full ACT with writing or the full ACT with no writing. Please check your school's requirements. I always recommend students just be safe and take it with writing. And then what is going to happen is going to pop up with several test dates available. The earliest test date is October 23rd. The next test date is December 11th. So if you want to take this next test, let's take it in October, and you would have to select the place you would like to go. The first options are the closest, then these last ones are farther away. So I would choose the closest option for you, depending on where you live in Person County. Now, once you select a site, so let's just say I picked the closest one, I'm going to add it to my cart. And it may take a moment to load. All right, so now it's giving me this shopping cart. So I have this product that's giving me the ACT with writing for this amount of money. Again, I have fee waivers, so you can enter a code here. Once you press apply, that cost will go down to zero. In addition, you will get a study course that you can use to study for the ACT that is coming up. I highly recommend that if you are doing this, email me and I can send you a fee waiver, okay? We are going to proceed to checkout, and then what will happen is it's going to ask us a ton of questions. This one is asking us how will you prepare for the ACT. This is an extra. You can purchase this, but please don't. I have so many free resources on my website, and you can get expensive tutoring, but don't. Again, I have free resources. And if you're using a fee waiver, you do get that extra course, okay? So we're going to have to press save and continue. And now we're into the photo section. You will have to add a photo here. And what I would recommend, again, is checking out the requirements. So the requirements for the photo, when you press add photo, is it will show you what you can and can't do. Specifically speaking, you cannot have something around you, something blocking your face. It does need to be a headshot. So shoulders up, just like this, to smile pretty. Okay. And then you will take that with your phone or a camera and email it to yourself. Maybe email it so that you can download it onto your school laptop. Once it's downloaded to your laptop, upload it here. You'll press choose photo, and then you will select the photo in your account. Okay. Once you do that, it will double check your photo, and then you will be able to move on. Right now, I'm going to skip this, but please don't. Some students have actually had to redo their ACT because ACT registration because they did not upload their photo by the deadline. There are deadlines, right? It does give you dates to do it by. Then you will enter in this information. For you guys, maybe you can put that, a counselor or staff member is helping me since you're watching this video. You will indicate information about you. If you prefer not to respond, you can say that, or you can take time to answer those questions. It's completely up to you. I do recommend you select if you are right-handed or left-handed because they can change the desk for you. And then also selecting if you'd like to be in this educational opportunity service. You can read more about it here. Oh, yes. Let's enter that in. Okay, so now this is the next sections, okay? Information, college choices, preferences. Most of this information is not required except for a couple things. It will say if it's required. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say I'm a 12th grader. We're going to move through. And now it's asking about my courses. It's asking if I've taken something, if I will take it, if I won't take it. But get this, none of it's required, so we're going to skip it. Just skip it. You guys have more important things to do with your lives. And so we're not even going to worry. Unless you want to think about it, go ahead and think about, what are the things that you've been involved in while you're in high school. If you'd like to fill that out, it's just to give them information and help you out and help you think about options. Get help paying for college. You can, again, fill this information out. This is on your possible career paths. These are required. So you do have to select an option. You can choose undecided. However, you can go browse through, think about it. What are your career choices and major choices? Kind of fun. I'm very sure I'm undecided, so I'm moving on. And your information, again, you can decide if you want to answer these, your needs and interests in school. Are you going to need help expressing your ideas in writing, improving your study skills? All of us say yes, but you don't have to check it. So moving on to the next section, college choices. Where should we send your scores? So this is a good question. And when we're taking the ACT, those ACT scores are going to need to get sent to our schools. If you're feeling confident about how you can do in the test and you feel like will have a very strong score, then you can select a couple schools. The reason why I'm bringing this up now is because you don't have to select any schools at this moment. You can come back later and actually send your scores manually to your schools. Your first 4 are free. So the reason why this is important is that if you are deciding to send, your first 4 schools right now, but then you later decide to take the ACT again, that will mean that your first 4 sends would have included this score. So they would see the score that you get on this particular test. If you're hoping that you get a higher score down the line, or maybe you're not sure of the score you're going to get and are trying to play that test optional idea of maybe not sending our scores because it's not necessarily required, then what I would recommend is holding off. Don't put your schools down yet. When you get your score, then you can send it. And again, your first 4 sends are free. I believe it's $13 to send your scores over that max of 4. Unless you have a fee waiver. I believe with a fee waiver, all of your sends are free. So that's a little bit on score sending. Your preferences, let's get that loaded. Okay, so parent notifications. So let's just say that I am the parent. Your email does have to be different. So let me put my work email. Okay, so your parent information does need to go there for notifications. And then you will be here at the terms and conditions. The most important part about this that I would make sure to read, and I think, I'm not certain where it might be located in here, but basically what they're telling you is a little bit about the test day. On the test day, you are not allowed to bring those really fancy calculators, the ones that can print stuff and like play music or whatever. Don't bring those. You also, I do not believe, are allowed to bring a bag. These are the prohibited calculators as well, if you would like to check out, just to check yours. You are not allowed to wear a watch during the session. There will be a timer available to you. And again, there is no cheating allowed. And I believe those are some of the basic things for you guys to check out. But if you want to read more, please do so. But they do have the option to remove students from the test center if these things are not being followed. As soon as you read through all of this, you do have to go all the way down, hit that, and then you'll have to enter your credit card information. If you decide to choose a fee waiver, don't worry about this. That can be left blank. But the rest of you guys that are not using fee waivers will have to put a credit card information in, press continue. What will happen is you'll get a confirmation page, and I'd like to show you guys that right now, but because I'm not paying for the test at this moment, we're not going to show you that. What I can show you is, again, that there's a confirmation page, and what's going to happen is you're going to get an ACT admission ticket, and it will look a little bit like, if I can type it out, it will look a little bit like this. Okay, and so the admissions ticket is going to have information about you, and it will also have your photo, and it again will have information about what to bring and what not to bring. as well as some other information about you. So the reason why I want you guys to be aware of the admissions ticket is that you do have to print it. And you do have to have it with you when you go to the test site. So make sure to press print. If you do not have a printer at home, email it to me and I will print it for you. But again, you have to have this in possession when you walk into the test site, otherwise they will not let you in. In addition to having this admissions ticket, they will also require you to bring a license or some form of ID to show who you are. If you do not have a license, there is a form or some sort of photo ID, there is a form that allows you to complete or just kind of waive that requirement. It will need to be notarized by a school employee, so you will have to bring that form up to the school. If this is a question of yours, if you don't have another form of ID, please let me know and I can walk you through how to complete that form and actually walk you to the person who can sign it. Again, that is the kind of the rundown of what will happen on the confirmation page. Again, make sure that that photo is uploaded, that you do print that admissions ticket, because you'll need both of that whenever you're completing your registration, as well as when you're going into the test site. So in terms of registering, that is about it. I do want to leave you guys with a quick note on how to study. So you will go to my website. You can find my website in so many places. At the bottom of my emails, there's a little icon with I think it's a little rocket. If you click that, it takes you to my website. But you can see that there are a lot of steps for going to college, and one of those is the ACT and SAT tests. So on my site, I do have instructions on how to use this information. There is some description of how they matter, why they matter. ACT scores and SAT scores are usually linked to a scholarship, right? So I would recommend completing the ACT and maybe taking it twice at least to improve that score and see if you get chances for more scholarships. But again, because you're watching this video, we know how to register. If you want to browse through this, you'll see descriptions of the tests. But one thing I want you to know is that you can prepare, and that is the one way to increase your score is to spend some time practicing. I am studying currently for a graduate program tests. It is very hard and hard to motivate yourself, and find time, but it is really crucial in increasing your score. So you will need to have things like, you can come up to my office and get a free practice test. You can also find a free practice test directly on the ACT website. Some of you guys used to have access to On to College. If you still do, you can use that to see videos. The ACT, and SAT has just so many really cool resources that you can use. There are also strategies. This particular thing is what I want you guys to check out. With the ACT, you can click this link and it takes you to a really awesome description of the ACT and resources for each of the sections. So as you can see, it's the reading, the English, the math, the science, and it's got really cool videos. One I want to highlight is commas. How many of us like commas? Watch this 3-minute video and see how you can actually use commas and use them effectively, and how to see that in a test and be able to determine if it's used accurately or not. So please use these resources. I highly recommend just browsing through this website and studying as often as you can, as much as you can before your test date. That is enough about the ACT, you guys. The practice tests are all right here. You guys can practice. That does make it possible for us to increase our scores. Again, I'm doing the same thing that y'all are, practicing, taking that practice test, seeing the questions, doing them over and over. It will help you. And please ask your teachers, your math, your English teachers, science teachers for support if you are at a place where you're having trouble. Okay, but that is enough. Once you are done with the ACT, please make sure you send your scores, okay? We've registered, you'll take the test. When you do get your scores back, if you like them, if you feel like they will help you and help your admission to the schools that you're interested in or to the scholarships that you're applying for, please send those scores. Again, it's 4 free sends initially. So save those 4 free sends if you can for the schools that really matter and for the test score that you are most excited to share. Okay. So make sure that if you have questions, you reach out to me. Again, this is act.org, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Ms. Lester. You can type in Lester in your inbox and send an email to me with questions. All right, thank you guys so much, and please let me know if you need anything. Bye-bye.